One of the best things you can do to improve your calligraphy right away is by using guidelines. And in this video, that's exactly what I'll be showing you how to do. How's it going, friends? This is Max from Lettering Daily, and in this video, I will teach you how to make and use calligraphy guidelines. Before we jump straight into it, let's have a quick overview of the contents of this video. I'll begin by explaining what calligraphy guidelines are and why we should use them. I'll briefly mention the basic tools needed, as well as the terminology and anatomy of calligraphy guidelines. I'll then show you how to quickly draw and use calligraphy guidelines through several examples. I'll finally make a quick recap of the whole video and wrap it up with a few final words. Without any further delays, let's get straight into it. So, what are calligraphy guidelines and why we should use them? Calligraphy guidelines are lines to help you determine the size and proportions of your letter forms. At the same time, guidelines are tremendously helpful in keeping your calligraphy nice and consistent. Calligraphy guidelines may vary in size and form depending on the style of writing you've chosen to do. I'll talk more about that later on in this video. So, why do you need them, and what's even the point of using calligraphy guidelines? Well, one of the key elements for calligraphy is consistency. Consistency in proportions, heights, angles, etc. Calligraphy guidelines are extremely helpful in maintaining a higher level of consistency while you write. Let me do a quick example where I write the same word with and without guidelines. You see, while you write, you have to focus on a bunch of different things. How you sit, how you hold the pen, how much pressure to add, how to move your arm, how to form the shapes of the letters, etc. I mean, the list goes on and on. Without guidelines, you have to additionally think about maintaining a consistent rhythm in letter proportions, heights, angles, and so on. It's not that you have to use them, it just makes the whole process much easier. That's it. And I think this example right here clearly demonstrates the difference between using and not using guides. I constantly recommend using guidelines, especially considering how quickly and easily you can create them from scratch. In fact, in my experience, not using guidelines is one of the most frequent reasons why beginners struggle to improve. With that in mind, let's proceed to the next section, which is what tools do you need to create calligraphy guidelines. To create guidelines, you will just need a few essential calligraphy tools, which are some paper, a pencil, and most importantly, a ruler. In the description box below, I left all the links to the tools I'm using right here, along with a few extra recommendations. I would just like to briefly mention a few words about this ruler right here that I'm using, since it's basically the most important tool when it comes to drawing guidelines. You can use any ruler that you have at hand, but the ruler I'm using and that I highly recommend to everyone is called the rolling ruler. It has all the features of a normal ruler, with the exception of having a rotating cylinder on the backside. The cylinder allows it to roll across the surface, hence the name, and it helps you create straight, parallel lines super quickly. I love it, I use it all the time, and I think it's an excellent investment for any calligrapher's toolbox. Next up, we have the anatomy and the terminology of calligraphy guidelines. Before I show you how to draw calligraphy guidelines, I think it's important to understand the purpose and name of each line. Don't worry, it's really nothing too complicated. Here, I have created a basic grid that includes the most important lines needed. So let's quickly go over their names and purpose. First of all, we have the baseline, which is the line where all the letters sit, both capitals and lowercase letters. Next up, we have the waistline, which is the top line for all lowercase minuscule letters. Then we have the X-height, which is often being used as the name for the waistline, but it's actually not. The X-height actually represents the height between the baseline and the waistline, so this space right here. Then we have the cap line, which is the top line for all capital letters. Then we have the ascending line, which is the top line for all ascending letters, like the letter H, B, K, L, D, and so on. We have the descending line, which is the opposite of the ascending line, which is the bottom line of all descending letters, J, G, P, Q, Y, and so on. Then we have the angle lines, and these lines are here to help you maintain a consistent slant of your letters. As you can see, we have a bunch of parallel lines both vertically and horizontally, which is exactly the reason why I highly recommend using the rolling ruler. It just makes the whole process much easier. Okay, now that we know what lines we have to draw and how we call them, we can proceed to the next section, which is the one you've been patiently waiting for, which is how to draw calligraphy guidelines. In this section, I want to show you exactly how I draw and use calligraphy guidelines throughout several examples. Here's how I draw my guidelines. I always do them from bottom to top and then from left to right. I grab my rolling ruler, I align it with the top edge of the paper and I slide it down to somewhere under the middle, let's say. I do a straight horizontal line, which will be my descending line. I then do a baseline, a waistline to close the X height, a cap line, and then finally an ascending line. Notice that the descending and ascending space are equal. The only thing remaining are the angle lines, which will help me maintain a consistent angle. These are super important. Now, calligraphy is a broad term, and as I mentioned earlier, the sizes of guidelines are different depending on the calligraphy style you have chosen to write. The main distinction we have to make is between traditional calligraphy scripts and modern/brush calligraphy. Traditional calligraphy scripts already have predetermined rules when it comes to creating guidelines. This is not just to keep your letters consistent, but also to get the right proportions of the letter forms. For example, black letter calligraphy is usually sized at 5 nib widths for the X height and an extra 2 for the ascenders, descenders, and capital letters. The letters are completely vertical with no slant whatsoever. Another example is the italic script that shares the same 5 nib widths for the X height and another 5 nib widths for both ascending and descending letters. The capitals sit on a 7 nib width height and the letters are usually slanted between 5 and 10 degrees. I'm not gonna cover every traditional calligraphy script in this video because otherwise it would really be too long. Just know that each traditional calligraphy style has its own general rule of thumb when it comes to letter sizes and proportions. Modern and brush calligraphy, on the other hand, is more open to personal interpretation, and often people get confused since they are not sure how to exactly size these lines. The best part here is that it's completely up to you how you choose to size them. What matters is that you remember to draw all the lines I mentioned in the anatomy and terminology section of this video. So let's make a couple of examples so I can show you exactly how I draw and use them. Example number 1 is evenly balanced. In this example, I decided to have an equal size for the X height and the ascenders and descenders. As for the cap line, I like to always keep it a bit smaller than the ascending letters. As for the angle, I went for a 20-degree slant. And thanks to my rolling ruler, I can measure the angle as well without having to use another tool. Here's a quick side note. I often get asked about the distance between the slant lines. This is completely up to you. We don't use these lines to determine the spacing between the letters, but rather to maintain a consistent slant. I tend to keep them evenly spaced so it doesn't distract me while I write the letters. Example number 2 is high ascenders and descenders. Here I used a 3:1:3 ratio, meaning that the ascenders and descenders are 3 times bigger than the space between the baseline and the waistline, aka the X height. I've also increased the slant to 35 degrees. Higher ascenders and descenders are helpful if you wish to implement calligraphy flourishes, for example. Example number 3 is a prominent X height. Here I have decided to make the ascenders and descenders smaller and actually reverse the ratio from the previous example, so here we have a 1:3:1 ratio, with the X height being the most prominent one. Additionally, I've also increased the angle to 50 degrees, giving it a much higher slant. As you can see, once you know the needed lines, you can easily switch them up and get totally different looks for your calligraphy. You can achieve more formal and elegant looks, or do something rougher or even more playful. Guidelines are merely an assisting tool to help you maintain a higher level of consistency while you write. Of course, once you're done with writing out your letters, simply pick up an eraser and delete the guidelines. Just make sure to wait a bit before doing so in order to avoid any ink smudges. If you're interested, I also wrote a whole article for my website. In it, I covered the topic more in depth and I also share some additional tips. Tips on how to create guideline templates to streamline your practice sessions and more. As always, a link will be waiting for you in the description box below. And there you have it, friends. That's pretty much everything you need to know about calligraphy guidelines. Here's a quick recap of everything we went through. Guidelines are super helpful when it comes to keeping your letters nice and consistent. The rolling ruler is the best tool, at least in my opinion, when it comes to drawing calligraphy guidelines. Understanding the basic anatomy and terminology of guidelines is a crucial part for learning how to use them. Traditional calligraphy scripts have well-defined sizes and letter proportions. Modern/brush calligraphy is more open to personal interpretation, and it's up to you to decide the sizes and angles of your letterforms. Now I want to hear it from you. How do you like to size your guides? Do you like larger ascending and descending letters or a more prominent X-side? Let me know by dropping a comment below. The same goes if you have any wishes and suggestions for future tutorials that I should make. I hope this video was helpful to you, and if it was, consider leaving a thumbs up or even subscribing to my channel to keep up with my new and upcoming videos. It would really mean a lot to me. Until the next one, stay awesome guys, cheers!